Her hair was very long, almost down to her waist, and the weight of it appeared to be dragging her head down. Her arms and legs were so thin that I wondered how such a frail body was able to stand the rushing current of that river. She must be a lot stronger than she looks. The girl shook her head for a few moments, trying to dry her hair under the sunlight before she approached me. It was only once she was a few paces away from me that I realized she was giggling. Hey there, were you worried about me? It's okay. You don't need to trouble yourself over me. I'm one of the strongest swimmers in my class. But you, even if you're good at swimming, you shouldn't do that in the river. It's dangerous. It's fine. I swim here all the time, and nothing bad has ever happened to me. All the time? We've never met before, but going by her words, this girl must live around here. I live nearby, and I've never seen you here before. Maybe we just kept missing each other. I'm always swimming here alone, so I'm probably hard to spot. The girl smiled as she brushed a few strands of damp black hair out of her eyes. Though I guess I'm not alone anymore, am I? So, what's your name? My name is Hideki. Hideki-kun. Is it? It's nice to meet you. My name is Chinatsu Misaki. Oh, ow. I have this weird tightness in my chest. I hope we can get along, Hideki-kun. Oh, is that it? Is that over for the flashback? No, it's not. I was sort of hoping that would be it. After that day, I started spending a lot of time with Chinatsu. We attended different schools, so we didn't get to see one another during the day, but that just made our time together all the more special. With school over for the day, the two of us would meet up near the bridge upon which we met and start and talk about nonsense until the sun began to set. On weekends, we'd meet up and play, trying new things together as we found activities we both enjoyed. Every day was fun. Even our dreaded family vacations, which I used to spend alone, were tolerable with her presence. Without even realizing it, the two of us became best friends. But on one fateful day, that all changed. Mom, can I see my cake now? Don't be hasty, dear. We can't start eating until your father gets back from work. But it's getting dark. I want to go and play with Nachan. Mom smiled at me, shaking her head. Then go out and play. I won't stop you. Though I'm sure Nachan would rather stay here and listen to me spill all of your embarrassing secrets. Oh, she's cute. Oh, what kind of things don't you want me to know, Hide? Chinatsu's eyes sparkled playfully as she overheard my mother and I speaking. Even though Chinatsu is normally quiet, she never passed up the chance to make fun of me. She might be like Mom, at least in that regard. By the way, her glasses are massive and adorable. Is there anything you're trying to hide from me? Is there? Why, yes, of course. Hide was telling me this the other day. He thinks you're really cute. Mom! I pushed and prodded at my mom's sides, which made her splutter helplessly with laughter. Mom is pretty ticklish, so even if I can't put my hand over her mouth, I can at least shut her up for this way. Stop it, Hide. That's too cruel. Would you dare do such a cruel thing to your mother? If it will keep you from teasing me. Okay, I'm sorry. I give in, you win. I stepped away from her, my arms folded, proud of my achievement. I'm not going to let my mom spoil my birthday, even though she seems to be trying her best to do so. Though she did bake me a cake, so I suppose I can't be too angry with her. I hadn't seen the cake yet, as Mom kept it stored in the kitchen, refusing to let me see it. She worked hard on the cake, likely because this was the first birthday I'd be spending with one of my friends. Unfortunately, if you see your cake before it's time to eat, it'll give you bad luck. Oh no, this is just getting That's what she said, but I think she's mixing up birthday cakes with brides. But we've been waiting for Dad all day. Can't we eat the cake yet? Nope, not until your father gets back. But he wasn't even supposed to go to work today. In order to help out around the house, my father took the day off work. However, he was suddenly called into work, apparently for something only he could sort out. I get that he has to work, but he's been gone all day. So much for the day off. This is boring. I hope Dad gets home soon. I want to eat my cake already. Don't worry, Heidi. I passed your message on to your father when he called 10 minutes ago. I'm sure he's rushing to get here as fast as he can. He'd better be, otherwise I'll be mad. Then I'm sure he'll hurry, Heidi. He knows better than to make you mad. So have some faith in your father. He's doing his best. I pouted, folding my arms across my chest. Since he isn't back right now, he's not trying hard enough. It's such a kid attitude. Are you mad at him, Heidi? Yeah, I'm mad. I'm really mad. This is supposed to be my birthday and he's ruining it. Oh? In that case, what would it take for you to forgive your father for this gross misconduct, Well, I'm not sure. I frowned, folding my arms across my chest. Where's Chinatsu? Was she just gone? I want him to go as fast as he can, no matter what's in his way. Since I'm his son, he should do that for me, right? Yes, I'm sure he's trying his hardest, Heidi. We just need to believe. Another 2 hours went by, and still we heard nothing from Dad. There was no car pulling into the driveway, no familiar knock on the front door, no cheerful happy birthday, Heidi, not even a phone call. My mom tried to remain optimistic, but I could tell that her smile was faltering. She started to wring her hands together, glancing up at the clock every 5 minutes or so. Where could he be? It isn't like him to stay away from home for so long without calling. Even without me saying anything, Chinatsu noticed my distress. She reached forward and took my hand, threading her pale fingers between mine. I'm sure it will be all right, Hideki. Maybe there was a traffic jam. Yeah, that's probably it, a traffic jam. I repeated her words under my breath, albeit without any conviction. My worlds trailed off into thin air, lost in the living room, which seemed to be growing colder by the minute. I was indignant about this at first, but now I can't bring myself to feel angry. Maybe it's because of the frightened look on my mom's face. I'm not mad at Dad anymore. Instead, I'm anxious. Mom's right. He would have called if anything came up. Why hasn't he phoned us? Just what is going on? At that moment, I heard the sound of knocking on the door. Most people in that situation would feel relief upon hearing that sound. But knowing my down, the sound brought nothing of the sort. After all, Dad wouldn't bother knocking at all. He just barged right in wearing a silly smile on his face, apologizing for his absence. So it was at that moment that I finally realized something was horribly wrong. I'll get it. Although she tried to act natural as she approached the door, Mom's voice told me that she was every bit as scared as I was. We both instinctively knew that something horrible was about to happen, and when my mother opened the door, our fears were confirmed. Excuse me, are you Miss Natoi? Standing in the doorway was a solitary police officer. He wore a neutral expression on his face, as though he didn't want to either relieve or worry us. And he fails miserably. My mother stands before him nervously, rubbing her arms, while my heart pounds so hard that I think I'm going to vomit. Yes, that's right. I'm Miss Natoi. I'm afraid I have some bad news, ma'am. Is this about my husband? That's right. Your husband, Although he maintained a stern expression until this point, the police officer now looked incredibly anxious. His eyes darted here and there, resting everywhere but my mother's face. I'm sorry, Miss Natoi, but there was an accident. Your husband's car was tail-ended by a speeding truck. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Dead? My husband is dead? The officer continued talking, spluttering as he spoke. He spoke many platitudes, telling us how quickly my father's death must have been, and how he didn't suffer. But once again, his goodwill had the opposite effect. How could the officer know that it didn't hurt? He wasn't the one who was hit by a truck. My dad was. My dad. The man who helped me learn how to ride a bike, and cheered for me at athletics events, and went hunting for cicadas with me in the forest on the weekends? He can't be. He can't be. I saw him this morning. He said happy birthday, Heidi, and kissed me on the forehead. And then promised he'd be back from work in time for dinner. He promised. My dad is a good father. He never breaks promises. Although I continued telling myself that my father couldn't possibly be dead, I already knew the truth. No matter how good a father was, Dad was only mortal. Getting hit by a truck, he didn't have a chance. Faced with that harsh truth, I began to question why. Why did he have to die? Why was it so sudden? This feeling like a scene from a movie or some kind of bad joke? I half expected the police officer to yell, "Just kidding," and have a camera crew emerge from behind his back. This could be like one of those TV shows dedicated to pranking celebrities. But it isn't. This is reality. My dad really is dead. He's nothing more than a lump of meat inside a crushed car. A splash of blood on the side of the road. That's all that's left of him. Not even his goofy smile will remain. It's gone. It's all gone. If only I hadn't told him to come home faster. If only I hadn't been so impatient. Mom was right. My cake wasn't going anywhere, but Dad... Now, Dad is never going to come back, and it's my fault. Hideki. Chinatsu looked at me with concern in her eyes and reached for my hand. But I didn't want her sympathy. I batted her hand away as my whole body shook. I could feel something rising up within my stomach, snaking its way through my body, up the back of my throat. And what came out of my mouth was a scream, a loud, desperate howl, like that of a wild animal. And once I started, I couldn't stop. I continued to scream. My throat tore, my eyes watered. I could no longer hold anything back. Hideki! Hidi! My mom turned away from the police officer and rushed towards me, her eyes wide with concern. She bent down, attempting to hug me, but I threw her off of me. Witnessing my mother's failure, Chinatsu attempted to approach me again. I felt a light pressure against my back. Her arms encircled me, her head resting against my back. I shuddered, attempting to draw a breath, but it's hard. Everything hurts. My vocal cords felt as though they've been cut in two with a pair of scissors, and my knees tremble. Hidi, please calm down. Don't cry. So she says, but from her wavering voice, even without looking at her, I can tell that she's crying too. Chinatsu got along well with my dad. Even if they didn't know each other very well, his death took its toll on her. No, that's not it. She doesn't care that he's dead. Neither does the damn policeman. They just want me to shut up and be quiet. My pain is an inconvenience to them. What they feel isn't sadness, it's pity. And I want none of it. Before I knew what was happening, I was running. I had shaken Chinatsu off of me and bolted through the front door and ran without hesitation. When I finally came to a halt, I gathered my bearings and realized where I was. My legs carried me here subconsciously, even though I didn't have a particular escape route in mind. I ran to the bridge, which upon I first met Chinatsu. It's the river. The same river where I first met Chinatsu. Why did I come here? Oh, are we still in Dreamland? I think so. Not Dreamland, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Is it because of all the good memories I have of this place, playing with Chinatsu? Did I think that everything could be reset if I just ran from reality? It's understandable that I'd want to run away, to return to my old life, but that isn't possible. What's done is done, and it can't be taken back. I can't go back in time. I can't change the paths. I can't do anything. All I can do is cry. No, that isn't strictly true. There is something I can do. Something I have to do. My impulsive words caused by my father's death. If I hadn't told him to hurry, he would have kept a closer eye on the road, and maybe he wouldn't have been hit by that truck. It's all because of me. It's all my fault. So in that case, I deserve to be punished. When people commit murder, they're usually given the death penalty. That's fair. That's justice. It's how the legal system works. And that's what I should do right now. I stared at the rushing water in the river below. It looked dirtier than it did when I last saw Chinatsu swimming in there. The river was dark and steely, a murky green. It was something I didn't want to touch, let alone submerge myself in. Nonetheless, I took a few tentative steps forwards, staring at my distorted reflection within the water. Can I really do this? Should I? I know that I didn't really kill my father. It wasn't my fault. But was the driver of that truck? It was the driver of that truck. I couldn't have done a thing to stop it from happening. But I don't want to accept that. If I accept that it had nothing to do with me, then it would be the same as accepting that Dad's death was unpreventable. That it was meaningless. I continued to stand there, staring at the water, immersed in my own thoughts. Hideki-kun! Ah! Two voices rang out from behind me. As I turned around, I found Mom and Chinatsu running towards me down the dirt path along the riverbank. They really look worried about me. Mom's face is pale, although she's just seen a ghost, and Chinatsu's wearing an expression of pity. I straightened my back and took a step towards them, away from the river. But as I did, as I tried to move, I felt my foot catch on something. It was a rock, a root, or something entirely else. It responded to my death wish and sent me tumbling backwards. I tried to balance myself, terrified by the falling sensation, but without anything to hold on to, I could only fall. Hidi! Submerged, cold, and bereft of oxygen, I entered the river. Sinking down to the depths, unable to fight the current, I drifted helplessly, endlessly, as my body was taken below. So this is it, huh? This is what I wished for. Peace and quiet, away from everyone, a punishment I can accept. The further I sank, the less inclined I felt to try and swim to the surface. My thoughts clouded over with a sense of relief. I had no desire to continue fighting. I just want to submerge to let it all end. Why did I hesitate? I should have done this from the start. This is the only way I can atone for what I did. And the only way I can ever live it down, so to speak. I just hope that Chinatsu and Mom are okay. It'll be tough on Mom, losing her entire family in one day, but she'll be better off without me. Wow. Wow. That's heavy. Oh, present. Okay. So, what happened? Did she, Chinatsu, drowned trying to... Oh! Damn. You're awake. Chinatsu? It's alright. Don't move. I'm here. I blinked as the sun blurred my eyes. The entire world was white, as though I had been submerged in darkness until just one moment ago. I'm sorry, Hideki-kun. I really am sorry. The figure in front of me sobbed, begging for forgiveness. I could barely make out the image before me, but even without my eyes adjusted, I knew who it was. Chinatsu. I reached out towards Chinatsu's face, wanting nothing more than to stop her from crying. But I have no idea why she's crying, or what I could do to make her stop. All I know is that the inside of my mouth tastes stale and dirty, as though I've been drinking dirty water. I tried to lift my arms to my face as I coughed up water, but I soon realized that I couldn't. My body had no strength left. I'm sorry, Hideki-kun. I really am. I'm sorry you had to suffer so much. Why is Chinatsu crying? Why is she apologizing? Did she do something for me? Did she push me in the river or something? Did I nearly drown? It would be better if you forgot about me, Hideki-kun. Just forget about everything. That way, you don't need to be sad anymore. As Chinatsu spoke, I felt the last of my strength leave my body. My eyes slowly closed, and I lost all consciousness.